Hey everyone, welcome to Spiritual Journey. Today we're going to talk about Saturn in Aries, which is pretty exciting. Of course, the big news is if you follow astrology or are connected or are an astrologer, you'll know that Saturn moving into Aries is also going to join Neptune. And that is deserving of another video that I'm going to make right after this one because it's pretty magical as we are about to embark and launch us into sort of a new reality. And new realities are exactly what Saturn is going to do in Aries. But the conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, which is really within 1 degree from now all the way to September, and it really doesn't come into full manifestation until next year, February. But it's building the energy now, so pay attention. And it deserves another video because Uranus is sextiling it and Pluto is sextiling it as Uranus and Pluto move into this trine position. And many astrologers, or at least Raymond Merriman, is calling this the Aries vortex. So it's pretty exciting if you've been looking for something new and something different in your lives. So let's talk about Saturn in Aries. Saturn's going to cross that threshold into Aries, which is the birth in point coming out of Pisces, and it's the birthing canal. And all of a sudden, we're into a new reality in Aries, especially with Saturn moving into this fresh new sign where many things happen that we never experienced before, perhaps. So this is the beginning of a new chapter. It's opening up new initiatives with Aries. It's really exciting as we open up to new agendas. So there's a motivation here. There's a push here. It's like a new adventure, and we're ready for excitement with this energy. So we're kind of claiming victory. We've got the courage, we've got the stamina to a certain degree, at least to launch things, and we're ready with this really bold energy of ours that is emerging. So Aries rules fire. It's a fire sign, and it's putting action into motion. It's individual because it's the first sign of the zodiac, so the birth of something, and it's individually motivated. So it's about you personally. It seeks quick gains. It wants to do things fast and furiously. And as a result, it can kind of just have blinders on where it just goes straight ahead and it doesn't necessarily see other people on either side or what's right in front of it. And you got to get all the way to Libra before we realize, hey, we could probably do more if we partner up with somebody. And so this can be kind of like selfish, focused, but not really taking into consideration other people. But it's a vibrant. You got to give it all it's got because pretty soon all that steam can burn away and you're left with, I've done all this work, but I really haven't accomplished anything. So this is where Saturn can be very helpful in the sign of Aries because Saturn says, stick with it. Take the knowledge that you've learned from the past and implement it into this new project. It's traditional. So don't try and cut corners like Aries likes to do. Um, Learn your lessons. And if you have suffered, if you have been working on something diligently and you just, it's an idea, it keeps rolling around, but you never get it done, now may be the time to implement it and get that thing going. So Saturn is like the bumps and the knocks in the road. It's like, whoa, it's karmic. I didn't see that coming. It takes time with Saturn. So you have to learn patience to initiate and get motivated. So it's slow, but it's enduring. It's going to be there for the long haul. So this is why Saturn is in its fall in this sign. It doesn't necessarily have a lot of support. And there's like these total opposites that are trying to complement one another. So Saturn slows down the energy of Aries. It really cools the fires and it just says, slow down, take your time, seek out professionals, seek out the information. Don't jump the gun, relax. So it produces blockages, delays, it enforces the rules here. It says, like, you just can't go off and do that. You got to get your permits, get your licensing, register your companies, do all of that. And it doesn't necessarily provide any assistance to you. It says you got to learn this on your own. So get going, figure it out. You'll be better off for the experience. So these are independent projects which take time, responsibility, dedication. It's a stick with it attitude. And eventually you're going to succeed. It's going to pay off. So this could be connected to your past in some things that you have been working on and just haven't been making any traction. With Pisces, all this ideas emerged, but you didn't really make any headway. So this could be your year to really go for it. It is frustrating at times. So you just have to believe that this is something you really want, because Aries likes to give up and Saturn says, can't give up. You got to put your boots on the ground and keep going. So it's karmic. There's a lot of karmic energy that is going to play out of what you're doing now, what you've done in the past, and where you're going in the future. So perhaps we've always wanted something, but have never had the time or the support that we needed to do it. So there's a spark of inspiration here that really sends us down onto a new path that's worthy of the celebration. And you're kind of bringing the old into the new with this combination. Now, Mars rules Aries. So Saturn is under the jurisdiction of Mars, and Mars moves relatively quickly, moving through the zodiac every 2.5 years. And so this is moving quickly. And Mars will open Saturn's journey through Aries in 2025. So Mars opens this journey because he's under the jurisdiction or traveling through Leo right now. And that sets the stage from now, May, until September, his first leg of the journey. Now, Leo rules leaders, kings, royalty, and you get Saturn, which rules leaders, those people in positions of authority. And you also get leadership in Aries. So we have a lot of leadership happening here. People who are ready to pick up the mantle and take charge of their own lives, not necessarily to be dictated to by somebody else. This is a real signal that if I want to get anywhere in life, I'm going to have to do it myself. I'm going to have to pick up the torch, and I want to start my own business. I want to do this for me because it's what I'm passionate about. So this can be aggressive, egotistical, because Mars is in Leo right now. It speaks to leaders in general and what their motivations are. And we could see the motivation of leadership falling into selfishness or for their own gains or their own purposes in the span of the summer months. And this can produce people to get agitated, riled up, eager to get in there and fight for their rights or fight for their own individuality. So we could be heading into some of that aggressive action in the summer months. New projects from governments could be announced here, but who's going to benefit from them and how are they going to be rolled out? And are they going to actually get rolled out, or are they just going to get talked about? So there are new initiatives here. Leaders and governments could go into a new direction. It's fresh. It seems amazing. But is there transparency, which is going to be required with Aries? No longer can you hide like Saturn was doing in Pisces. So this would signal that leaderships and governments are interested in restructuring old systems and to revitalize them into new again. So it's fast paced. It drives the entertainment industry or entertainment model, but also it's going to affect children because Leo during this short span is in the house of children, investments, taking that risk. So Saturn was last in Aries in 1996 and 1999. And this is important because it ushered in the ability during that time period of everyone having a computer. So it was a big project, a new thing coming out, maybe of an old idea, but it gave us all the ability to put that laptop or computer in front of us and we could create, we could structure, and it was implemented into the old system of how we were doing business, banking, everything. Now I go online and do my banking. So it's just similar to that. And we could see the emergence of something emerging here and a new model emerging that really gives us the ability to function independently, just like the computer did. So individual energy is emerging strong here. That now in 1996 to 1999, the creation of the computer allowed me to run a business just from my desk. So this is personal initiatives, and it could be connected to that new technology as well. because technological advances are moving quickly. And we could really flourish here under new leadership in various countries as well, as they see a vision for the future. Now, when you combine Saturn with Aries, you get Saturn, which is cold. It's outside of the, it's cold out there. Plus, Saturn is surrounded by all these rings, which makes it very contained. So it's cold, distant, and very contained. Aries, on the other hand, is fresh, hot, active. Now, a planet isn't like a zodiac sign. A planet is a movable object, and a zodiac sign is a fixed energy within a 360 degrees span. So this fixed energy really it's not moving too much. But this is a cardinal energy. So cardinal is new initiatives, the launching pad for something to begin. Saturn is going to structure this energy as he moves through the zodiac sign of Aries. He's going to slow it down as he crosses those degrees, those 30 degrees through Aries. And this is going to crystallize and solidify the new creations that are forming, and they're long lasting. So this initiates a physical manifestation to our pioneering creations. It's going to take dedication, hard work. The rules are going to apply to anything. So you might as well get down to business and get that thought in your mind if you're ready to begin something like writing a book, starting a new business, running as a politician, going back to university. This is going to take time, hard work, and dedication. But if you got the idea in your mind and you've had it for a long time, it could move quicker than you think. So Saturn, of course, is about leadership, business, rulers, similar to this energy of Leo that's moving through it right now. So there is planning, but yet there's hesitation. And this can produce difficulties. We're going to have to slow ourselves down, and we can't rush into things. Even though this is a fresh energy, it's a fresh energy for leaders, businesses. The way we do business is a fresh energy for projects, fresh energy for a lot of things connected to Saturn. So Aries, in the sign of Aries, what Saturn's major concern is that we're going to run out of time. So time is going to be a factor. And we need to be cognizant of our time here because we actually could run out of time. So what do you think how is this going to impact the world? Well, Saturn, of course, is business and Aries is new initiatives. So business is going to change. Governments are ruled by Saturn and they are going to take new initiatives and launch forward. But yet, Saturn shrinks things, it contracts. And so it's not big and expansive, it contracts. and holds it back a little bit. So the economy could be affected here to some degree, and only those things like that involve Neptune energy can be really considered for funding or considered for a long-term business. And the reason why is many of us could fall flat on our faces, which is the reality of the situation. And we could invest a lot of money, but find ourselves bankrupt because Saturn rules bankruptcy. There's barriers and blockages, and yet there's revitalization. And revitalization is really going to impact the governments, the implementation, the spurring of a new idea, and new vitalization into various political parties. For example, like the Democratic Party or the Conservative Party in Canada, which both are ruled by Saturn. This is exciting, perhaps, for them as they revitalize. And this old energy is going to start to fall away in place of this excitement that's building. People want to look forward to the future. We get stuck in the past, but ultimately we are looking forward. We need to look forward. We need to look forward for our children. We need to look forward for future generations. We can't get stuck in old models that have tried and tested throughout history, but we need to transform them now into something that's workable for the future. Any model or idea that is implementing that, you're going to be like the star of the show. And we're looking for the star of the show. So we could actually get this pumped up energy with new leadership and to initiate those new projects. So governments are going to move in a new direction here. I believe it's going to be a positive direction. Some of the industries that are going to be impacted are those really solid industries like carpentry, construction companies, the building of something, foundations, because Saturn here. So new technologies or new initiatives into implementing building and housing is a big thing that is going on right now, along with real estate and real estate things. So new land can be revamped. So old land that's stagnant, full of garbage, like can be restructured, cleared, and new initiatives put in their place. It's like taking the old and making it new again. Cemeteries we could see because of course Saturn is the Grim Reaper. So cemeteries and how we work with cemeteries and even death, those things could be impacted new ways, and there already have been mentioned crematories and new ways of dealing with decaying the decaying or the preservation of the body after death. Chemists are going to be impacted. Chiropractor, of course, because Saturn rules bones and bone structure. Also, surgery related to those bones and how we deal with the structure. Churches, the foundation of the churches. Will we see a new revitalization and inspiration? After all, we just have a new pope in the Catholic Church. Is this the launching of a revisitation and rebirth of of churches and the interest in religion and spirituality within those jurisdictions? We are also going to see engineers, especially civil engineers, because they are instrumental in the building of bridges, roads, housing, and high-rise buildings, new models, new visions for the future in relation to some of these. Laborers and the labor force, a new model in how we work, because Saturn is working. So a new model in how we go to work, but especially the time that we spend at work. Aries is free time. Like, I want to hurry up and get this done so I can get home and do the things I love. So even that is moving through the labor force, and maybe the hours and the time we spend working. Economists, of course, are going to be involved here, and new ways to look at how we deal with the economy and this slowing down of the economy. Saturn is frugal, budgeting, paying attention to how you're spending your money. So how we do that, physical labor itself is going to be impacted because of new technologies and new ways of doing things. You know, it's progress. You know, we had a pitchfork and a wheelbarrow, and that's how we move things. Then we moved to wheel loaders, and now what's the next? What's the next journey we're about to take? Farming, in the structure of farming, is going to be impacted, along with cattlemen, in how they are doing things, and what they're going to do. Also, environmentally, with new land bases, and the preservation of the land, because Mother Earth, Saturn, it used to be in mythology that Saturn was married to Gaia, Mother Earth. And so he, of course, wants to look after her and tend to her. And that's the term, in a husbandly way, to look after your land and to preserve it. And that's where that coin or ideology came from. In a husbandly way, we're going to look after our homes and preserve them for the long term. So throwing out stuff and doing something and throwing it in the garbage probably is going to turn a corner here in favor of something else. Government buildings here, we have a lot of government buildings in Canada. So they could also be restructured, or any government building could be restructured. The common people are important here, along with the laborers. And how are we going to deal with the common people, especially those in poverty, and the labor force, the people that make the economy run? What new initiatives or what things are we going to restructure and revitalize in order to make their lives better and more sustainable? So that is extremely important. Along with the elderly, the care of the elderly, how we're looking after our elderly people who have not only fought in world wars, but built the countries that we're living in today. So there's a lot of karmic energy that's moving through here. Things like imports that is related to the economy, trade, buying and selling to some degree. but it's the buying and selling, which is sort of a precursor to the trade industry or moving products. So we're keeping tradition here. We're simply restructuring and bringing it back to life, I guess you could say, rebirthing it. It's a hard energy, it's doable, and it's exciting. So even this would be like taking a very old building and renovating it to bring it up to standard to new. We some of the hardship that's coming to various industries uh in this journey with Saturn and Aries, because Aries is being impacted. So when Saturn moves through, although it's doing all these things that I said it was going to do, revitalization to laboratories, because Saturn benefits from the energy of Aries. And so you have all of this new energy filtering into the areas that I just mentioned. But now you got Saturn moving through Aries and impacting the energies of Aries. So now you have perhaps hardships or a slowing down to industries like firemen. There could be new rules, implementation of certain regulatory systems that are moving into some of these areas, butchers, abattoirs, those types of thing, and the husbandry to the cattle industry. There could be new restrictions or trade issues related to the commoner in some ways, because Aries is the commoner as well. And those people who are just working for a living and really struggling as the economy perhaps slows down and we got to tighten our belts. The military, even though they're talking about increasing funding to the military, there could be a change here, that it's not a free for all, and that there needs to be more budgeting and responsibility and reliability on the military and their functions. The surgical units in hospitals and operations and how they're done. And this could mean that there's a shortage of surgeons around the world. So that's important. Soldiers and what soldiers are actually doing on the ground, boots on the ground, and how they're functioning. Leadership is important all across the board here, and are leaders being responsible to the commoners? And they'll fall out of favor quite quickly if they're not looking at some of those initiatives to relaunch excitement into the world, because it's pretty drab right now. And this, when I talk about fires, this could be how we deal with fires in general as we have going on in Manitoba, and the structuring of that and how we're going to produce efficiency in fighting some of those fires. Interestingly enough, hairdressers are involved here as well. And so beauty, right? Attraction is in the first house of Aries. We have to be attractive in order to attract attention. And we could see a resurgence of some old things like hats as well, women wearing hats, or the vogue of hats coming back. I think we've seen that in the 90s to some degree. So, but this Saturn in Aries is really about laying a new foundation and laying the groundwork that's going to be solid and sustainable. So I just want to mention the countries, some of the countries that are going to be impacted here. Most importantly, Palestine and Syria fall under the helm of Saturn. And Saturn builds things. Saturn builds things, lays the foundation, and Aries is new initiatives. So hopefully we see some building, restructuring, and a new foundation for Syria and for Palestine. And we, just to mention a few other places, Denmark is a country involved here. And there's little towns here and there, like in England and stuff, but the whole country of Denmark will be involved. And I want to mention the next one that could be impacted as a city is Dallas, Texas, for all you US viewers here. Another hardship that could be coming or restructuring could be to the United Nations, which falls under Aries. And it was boom, perfect. And now we could see that we need to, has it gotten too large and too out of control? And do we need to slim that down to some degree or to restructure how they operate in the United Nations? So, wow, that's Saturn in Aries, and hopefully you're spurred on to get back to some of those old projects that you've been thinking about and launch them. And I really hope you do. I also posted a little video on meditation and the manifestation of money. So if you want to take a quick look at that, if you endured me all the way to the end of this, and maybe start to manifest some money coming into your bank account. So I hope you enjoyed this. It's going to be followed up, of course, because many astrologers are talking about the Neptune Saturn conjunction, which is within 1 degree right after Saturn gets into Aries. And that is going to bring a lot of excitement into your world. So I'll catch you later.